Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jay. I'm here to talk a little bit about the life, the legacy, and the impact of one Kevin Samuels who passed away. Was it 2 days ago? It was a huge story, and people, we waited for like a whole day, basically for confirmation from his mother that he had indeed passed away, but she herself, according to this article, found out that her own son passed away through this news article. Now, Kevin Samuels was a controversial YouTube personality, a dating guru, and a commentator on relationships. Basically, he was the individual who came out 2 years ago and had this confrontation with a woman with this woman, and she was going to him for advice, asking him what level did he think that she was on, and he basically told her that she was average at best, and then he became notorious for calling out women, especially women of color, for a lot of their flaws, and because of this, he was painted by the media as a sexist and as a misogynist because he was basically, telling them what they did not want to hear. It was an indication that when people tell you what you want to hear, then you applaud them. Then you're like, yes, yes, say that, say that. But he was telling them something completely different. He told this woman, listen, you're middle aged, you have three children, you have one son that is 15. How realistic do you think your prospects are going to be in the dating market? And that is something refreshing. That level of honesty was something refreshing that people needed to hear. He was also very much like, and this is something that people don't get really, he was very much like that with men as well. I saw this old YouTube clip where this man who was like 5'8", like 300 and something pounds, and Kevin Samuels told him the same thing. How realistic do you think your dating options to date a woman that's a bad B really are? You're 5'8", you're 300 and something pounds, you're overweight, you need to get to the gym, and you need to be motivated. Kevin Samuels didn't only do this for women, he did it for men as well. But it seems like they only painted him as like this MGTOW, this men's rights activist, this hardcore sexist when he really wasn't. It is an example of what the media always does. They take little snippets of what you say and they completely take it out of context and completely blow it out of proportion. Now, admittingly, this is coming from someone who's never really watched Kevin Samuels' material. I watched some of it to prepare for this video, and I heard of Kevin Samuels in passing because many people that I have on my Facebook page, many people that are interested in his stuff and interested in dating advice. I personally don't seek dating advice on YouTube or any kind of form of social media because I don't need the validation in terms of that arena from people who don't even know me personally. Yes, we all have flaws, we all have things we can improve, but I'm not going to go to someone who I don't even know from an internet personality to ask for dating advice. This is not something that I'm interested in. But plenty of people are interested in that, and he cornered that market, and he had over 1 million subscribers. So maybe he was on to something, and you had to give him credit for that, because he was speaking to this sort of gender type war that exists basically online, where women, women wanting men to be more responsible, wanting men to be more forthright, wanting men to be more honest. But yet, when an individual like Kevin Samuels be's honest and he actually says what he feels and he actually says the way things the way they are, telling this woman about herself the way she needed to be told when he says something that she doesn't want to hear, how she overestimated her value in the dating market, and he tells her like, yeah, he calls it as he sees it, then they don't want to hear it. Then they call him a misogynist or a sexist, and and that was unfair. I mean, if you really didn't want to know the man's advice, don't ask for the man's advice. Don't go on the man's show and put yourself out there and embarrass yourself. It's the same thing with the men. It's like if you really didn't want to hear what he really had to say and you didn't want to hear him to speak the truth to you, why even put yourself out there and go on his show? Don't go on his show then. You know what I mean? If you can't stand the heat, stay the hell out of the kitchen. And I think many women set themselves up on his show to go after him just so they could prove their point that he was anti-black women or that he was a misogynist or he was a sexist or he was some kind of cruel individual when he really wasn't. If you really dug into a lot of his shows, I saw a couple where he went after the men just as much. And in the interview that he did in 2021 with Nicki Minaj, he gave Nicki her props. He told Nikki, "Look, you're a boss B. You do what it is. You do what you do as far as being a boss bitch like that, and you make those kind of moves so you could determine the trajectory of your relationships. But a lot of these other women can't. They try to put themselves on a pedestal like you, and they don't really have it like that. They don't have it like that socially, and they don't have it like that financially. Now, a lot of women are like coming at it this whole situation and they're trying to make it like it's good that Kevin Samuels passed away at an early age, 56 years old, because he's a hypocrite. All he did was tell women they were average at best. He engaged in their point of view, he engaged in a lot of misogyny. And it's good that he died because he used to make fun of people's weight. He used to make fun of them having high cholesterol and look at himself having a heart attack in the hotel with this woman on Cinco de Mayo, who happened to be a Latina. Well, that's not cool because think about it, guys. We're all going to face our maker someday. We're all going to have to meet up with uh, uh, we're all going to have to meet up with our maker, and we're all going to be called, we're going to be accountable for our actions, words, and deeds to other individuals. Death is something that we all face in life. It's the inevitable. That's the only thing that really all human beings do face. Some are short, some are skinny, some are fat, some are tall or whatever. you know, tall and short and fat and skinny. Those are the opposites. I'm getting all mixed up. But anyway, you know, anyway, but one thing we all do face in life is death. So these women that are dancing on Kevin Samuel's graves and happy that he died, they're disgusting. You know what I mean? Those type of women are disgusting, and those type of women are the women that, or the men, even the men that are celebrating his death. Those are the people that he was talking about, the low dredges of society. Those individuals that weren't taking his advice and heed. Because think about it, when somebody tells you something negative, guys, take it in heed, use it for your advantage, use it to further yourself, especially when you're dealing with someone like Kevin Samuels. It was just like, okay, another self improvement advice, productive dispenser of advice, Jordan Peterson. When Jordan Peterson had his incident a couple of years ago where he was on the Xanax, a lot of people, and I ain't gonna front, myself included at the time, I've improved my personality a lot better. Took it as an opportunity to gloat about Jordan Peterson's situation. Say, look, he's always coming down on other people, telling them to clean their room, telling them to take self responsibility. And here he is engaging in Xanax, and then he had an incident where he was brain dead or under a coma, and he was taking drugs. Look at Jordan Peterson has skeletons in his closet too, and isn't that something? He's always telling other people what to do, and he can't even improve his own life. That's the way people are looking at Kevin like too, because they feel like these social media influencers, they got no reason to talk. They're just social media influencers. Who the hell are they to judge my life? But then again, guys, that could go for you too. You too can become a social media sensation overnight by just giving your opinion, and then you'll be judged by a different standard. And then people will say, "Well, look at you. You're trying to give advice, and you're not even up there on. You're not even doing the right thing and up there on the level you should be either." we all could point fingers. You point a finger in one direction, you got three pointing back at you, guys. So for the people that are gloating about Kevin Samuels' death, disgusting, shouldn't do that. You should reform yourself. Because at the end of the day, he was a human being. And just like other provocative YouTubers, I said this from 2016 onward, as social media became popular and these social media influencers blew up overnight. This is, and Charleston White, another guy like this, figured out the game and figured out the way the game is played. This whole shit that Kevin Samuels does, that Tariq Nasheed does, all these guys, even Jordan Peterson, this is all game, guys. This is all a character that they're playing. They want to play on your emotions. They want to troll you. They want to get a reaction out of you. So they're saying this to get a reaction out of you. And your negative reaction is exactly what people like him would have wanted. It's exactly like people like him would have wanted. Your negative reaction, your visceral anger, because they're trolls. This is your troll era. This is the era that we live in now. You know what I mean? Where these social media influencers are bigger than these celebrities. I saw somebody post today that why are we even concerned about a guy like Kevin Samuels? He wasn't no rapper. He wasn't no singer. He wasn't no basketball player. He wasn't none of that. But at the same time, those people are so disconnected from the everyday struggle of the everyday average individual that they don't matter to us no more. When they do express an opinion, we're like, who the hell are you? You're a multi-millionaire to be telling me about my life. But yet social media influencers are the new celebrities. They're the new celebrities. They're the new people that are out there on the high castle, dispensing advice or dispensing criticism out there. So they do open themselves up to a level of vulnerability. But I say, guys, have class, have civility. Remember that he is still a human being. He still has a family, he still has a mother. I'm sure he has kids out there. Yes, and this whole situation with his heart was a hypocritical situation because, like Sergeant Willie Pete said, somebody like a Kevin Samuels should have, went to the doctor more often, should have been more on top of his health. If you're going to give advice, you should practice what you preach and take your own advice. That's true. But at the same time, if y'all became a social media influencer overnight and y'all became somebody famous that some other people look to advice, would you say that your whole entire house is completely in order? Would you say that you're doing the right thing in terms of your own physical health, taking care of your wants and needs, dotting the I's and crossing the T's in your own personal life, especially if you're a man in a middle-aged man? Are you getting regular prostate exams? Are you getting regular colonoscopies? Are you getting regular EKGs? If you're not doing any of that, then when you inevitably die, same with a woman, when you inevitably die or when something inevitably happens to you, then people could turn right back around and say the exact same thing about you. So dancing on his grave, acting like you're happy that he's dead, no, that is not a good thing. Because I said the same exact thing when Rush Limbaugh died. I didn't like Rush Limbaugh at all, but yet he serviced the market. His provocative comments serviced the market and opened up the door for free speech. So it is exactly the same with Kevin Samuels in terms of the relationship advice. Should have he been following his own advice? Should he have been worried less about being a high value man, quote unquote, and more about his own personal health? Sure, he should have. You know what I mean? That doesn't give us the right to celebrate the man's death, the man's demise. That's fucked up. You know what I mean? And it wasn't that he was sexist. It wasn't that he was misogynist. From what I could tell, he was just honest. And of course, that's an opinion from the limited exposure that I have to him. But criticism often is honest, and criticism is often harsh. And if you can't deal with it, then you can't deal with it. Peace. Love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Try to make my channel as big as Kevin Samuels. Peace. Love you.